Hello everyone. So in this video I will be showcasing the Wealth Management 3.0 system and how to use it, how to fill it out, how to go through each feature and try to aggregate all of our money management features at one Notion tool. This is a Notion template. It's written in Notion for Notion, so there is a lot of Notion formulas going on. There is self-referencing and referencing the other tables. So there are a few databases that we are working with. It's a pretty complex tool, I would say, but it's kind of nicely spread out and connected all together. So let's go and see how we can fill out this empty tool and kind of tailor it to our needs. So I will go through each of the feature and then I will come back to profit first at the end to kind of summarize what we're working with. So first feature is transactions. On transactions, we track individual transactions, your spend and your income, and we can present it in different ways. So let's say, me personally, I prefer to track everything meaningful, starting maybe from $50, but you can go less or more. But for me, the rule is if it's $50 or above, I put it in a tracker. So let's say you went and you purchased a new jacket. You go to your spend section and you put new jacket. You do a date, you do an amount, and the amount says you want to put a negative for the spend and positive number for the income. The account we will skip for now. Tag something like personal. Text we will also skip for now. Properties unrelated to properties. Organization, it's a personal. Contact, you can keep something like H and M. Here's a new contact, we just created one. Project, nothing here, but maybe it's a project thing. You can add some notes and it will automatically pick the quarter based on a date. And we can keep going. Maybe you have a business purchase of equipment. You do the same, you select the date, the amount, once again account and taxes are skipped for now, and you do maybe business. And so on. The same goes for income. So when you make money, it can be your salary that you received on the first, and then you do positive number here. You can once again put an appropriate tag. If the tag is not here, feel free to create one. Properties and so on. The same goes for your business income. Maybe you're making, I don't know, Amazon revenue. Maybe you have a side hustle and they pay off every, I don't know, 10th. Maybe you have $600 on your Amazon and you do business. You can put like a contact Amazon. And you can do the contact here, my work. And so on. So on your all transactions, you will see your income and your spend on the same table. And you can also see the recents. We can also add transfers, but this will be covered in a different page. And we can also do the tags here as well, and we can see So let's say if we group and hide empty tags, we can see that we have our business transactions here. Our personal, our salary, and so on. And you can also see the calendar. So this is just transactions. Once again, pretty simple stuff. Individual transactions goes here, amounts negative for spend, positive for income. Let's go next. Let's go to subscriptions. So subscriptions and bills are reading from the same database, which is recurrent transactions. And the way it works is you put a recurrent transaction that is, you put it once. Let's say you pay a car insurance. So for the amount, you put something like $110. The company Allstate. And the cycle you can pick from the list. This is a hard-coded list. I suggest you do not update it. But let's say you pay monthly and your due date is on 5th. So here it will calculate, first it will calculate next billing date based on your cycle. So if we change a monthly to, let's say, quarterly, it will give you 3 months in advance billing date. It might not be as accurate, but this is a pretty complex formula I've written, so it kind of keeps it all together. Here you can also specify the months, the amount of months that was billed. So let's say you paid this bill for the whole year, you could keep it empty, or you can put 12 months. But if you joined, let's say, only mid-year and only spent 6 months, it will give you yearly cost of only the months that you spent. Same story here. Maybe this is a car transaction. We will keep taxes and accounts still empty. So this what comes with the subscriptions. Now maybe you have an income that goes here. You can do the same. Maybe you charge a service. So you can say that you do like tutor services and you make $200 monthly. Same story. You put your months billed. Let's say we can keep it empty, and we can see by just entering this, we can already see our next billing date, which would be on February. We can see our yearly cost. Well, in this case, it's I would say it's earning money rather than spending money. Business. So this will not calculate it item by item. So this is only you inputted it once and then you work with this. But the bills work the same way. You put something like water bill, maybe electricity bill. You put status, so active. Maybe you can also do one time or canceled. You do the cycle monthly, maybe quarterly. Amounts. Months billed. So let's say you moved into the house mid-year and you are calculating for this particular house. And the dates might be different. However, the next billing date will be calculated still properly. So the tax would be water and electricity. Water will be something like Chicago City Hall. Electricity, something like ComEd. And this is what comes with recurrent transactions. Now, you can always change the status from active to cancelled. Once you do this, it will not calculate next billing date. You can also select one time, but I suggest you do this in the transactions. And this is how subscriptions and bills work together. It's a pretty nice feature to kind of track all of your spending, because monthly spending is the most sneaky, and this is really important, the one I use all the time on my personal dashboard. Now let's go to the investment stuff. So for the stock trades, pretty simple. You input the symbol, you put the amount that you purchased, let's say $2,000 for the price of $100. You purchased 20 shares. Let's say you did it last Tuesday or this Tuesday. Status, you bought them. Net profit, this is when you sell it. So let's say you purchased this and you sold it 2 days later, and you sold it for the amount of 150 shares, $150 per share. You would have here, let's say 3,000. You would have to manually calculate what is the difference, what's the net profit. In this case, it's $1,000 net profit. And your estimated tax, once again, a little bit manual. You have to know your tax in your area on your profits, but let's say it's 25%. So you do something like $250. You can do bought, you can do sold, put as many as you want. Crypto trades, same exact story. You buy Dogecoin, 100 millions for the price of very little, maybe $1. You do million shares, you buy it, and your net profit is the moon. Anyway, don't invest in Doge, or do. Who am I to tell you? Now, precious metals. Here you add anything that you purchase from the precious metals, and you like to invest in gold or silver. You put something like 10 ounce of gold. Same story when you purchased it. How much it cost you, $20,000. Metal gold, weight 10 ounces, quantity 1, type bought. Pretty straightforward. The same for selling. You just do sold, maybe it's 10 ounce silver. If you don't see the metals that you buying or selling or storing in this table, just add them more. Now to the dividends. This is the table for all your dividends, when you receive them, how you receive them. Maybe you invest in ABC and you receive, let's say $50 dividends every first. Just import it here. I wouldn't suggest doing it on the recurring transactions and bills. I prefer doing it manually because the dividends basically change because of the price, and maybe you invest more, so it's not always the same number. So put it manually one by one. Once a year, you just go ahead and you can just import the data from your bank, format it to these columns, and just import all of your dividends in this page. So interest, once again, you can do symbol, or you can do something like Bank of America account, and your interest you make in, let's say, $200 each month or each quarter. You put a date, and it's the same database as dividends, but just separate filters. Now, real estate. Here in real estate, we can track a bunch of different things. You saw that we have a property here. So with real estate, I like to track my portfolio, my rents, how much I pay, how much I get paid. And here I kind of like, I can do the financial part of this. But in order for this to work as I want to add a property. So there are like a database for properties. I can fill it out later, but let's say it's 123 Apple in New York. We can do type like house, number of units 2,000 square feet, and so on. So now once we go back to our transactions, we can say that maybe this business equipment was for this property. I wouldn't say that maybe your salary is for the property or Amazon revenue is tied to the property or your jacket, but some of your purchases would be tied to the property. Same goes for something like bills. You go here and you can, it's not shown here for some reason, but you can also select that all of these bills are going to a certain property. And here in real estate, you will see it grouped by those properties. So you can add some more stuff. Maybe you purchase new window. And you spend $500 on it. You can also do something like a real estate tag and also a business tag. You can do multiple tags. And once you go back to your transactions, you will see this new entry, and this new entry will have this property already pre-applied. So here, coming back to this real estate page, here we can track our spend, our income. Maybe we want to do, let's say we want to track the rent that we collect from our rental unit. So we do rent payment from John Doe. Okay, that didn't work. So let's say we are making $2,000 in income in real estate every first, and we select our property, and let's say it's going to be John Doe So here in this transaction, we will do rent payment from, and you can do at John Doe, for example, and link this contact that we created. Doesn't find it for some reason. Tenant. Well, that didn't work. Anyhow. So yeah, you can see it will be filtered by the property, your spend, your income, all transactions by the property, your recent, your rents. So the rent is not showing up here, but it will once we put a proper type on this. So if we go and see rent payment, let's see what we need to do. So for rent, this filter is tag rent. What we want to do is we want to add another tag. And now we see our rent related payments here in this table view. And goes for calendars. And you can also check your bills that are tied to certain properties. So as you could see, we added this bill to this 123 Apple Avenue. We see it right here on the real estate page. Now the debt is basically a transactions or recurring transactions database filtered for your debt payments. Maybe you are paying a personal debt. and maybe you are paying it to your friend. So you could do that. Yesterday you paid $60 to your neighbor. Jane neighbor. Or maybe you're paying recurring debts. Maybe you pay your college student loan, and this is a bill, although you can kind of consider it a subscription, but let's say it's going to be a bill, active, cycle monthly, amount $1,000, months billed a year 12 or empty, let's put 12. The start date is the 1st. Account company taxes, great. Now, all your debt will be tracked here. It's nothing complex. We don't really see how much you have left paid, maybe in the next versions, but here you can kind of like categorize by the debt itself. It will apply tax debt. This is how it appears in this page. So on the accounts page, you can create multiple different accounts and kind of store it in your wallet. Think of it as some essential information about your bank accounts, your cash, your credits, and whatnot. And we will be linking all of the transactions and subscriptions to these accounts. So to do this, pretty simple, just start filling it out. You can go and just do debit card, credit card 1, credit card 2, cash, let's say PayPal, and maybe your business credit, and business bank account. And you can do it here pretty simply by selecting the banks, if applicable, by selecting the type. So your debit card, let's say it's personal, your credit card is personal, the other one is business. Let's say this one is also business. Your cash is cash, PayPal account is maybe it's business, and business bank account, another business. So here, maybe this business bank account is tied to a property, you can always select it here. And you can see it here by type. You can see it here by the bank and in your wallet right here. So it's pretty straightforward. So now let's see how we can connect it to the rest of our data. So let's say your income, let's say your rent payments go to your business bank account, salary goes to your debit card, Amazon revenue comes to your another business bank account, spend is from business credit card, new window, business equipment, let's say from PayPal account, personal debt, you were maybe paying someone from your cash, and your new jacket was purchased from credit card 1. So the same goes for subscriptions. Account, car insurance, maybe you paid from your credit card, tutor services, maybe you receive it on your business bank account. Your bills, same story, goes to your accounts, business bank account, and maybe credit card too. Who knows? And once we have that filled out, we can go back here and we can see all of our transactions on this page, as well as seeing the transaction total for each of the items. So we can see that on our debit card we have a positive of 3,000 because of our salary, and on our credit card we are minus $250, so we need to cover that and pay this off, and so on. This is a very easy to use, and it's very useful at the end of the year when you try to aggregate all of your purchases and all of your transactions. And as you can see, it not only tracks just transactions but also recurring transactions. We can also do the transfers. So the transfers is basically still a transaction, but I would use it in a little bit different way. So I would say something like a transfer. Let me group it differently here. Let me remove the grouping, and I would do something like transfer from personal to business, and we would say, let's say, $5,000 to the account, business bank account, and we did it yesterday, and the tag is transfer. This is something just to keep in mind, to remember some meaningful transactions. I know you might be transferring money all the time from one account to another. If you feel like filling that information up, go ahead and do it. Otherwise, just do a few that really matters, just so you don't forget. And now to the juicy part, taxes. Taxes is kind of like the main aggregation. It has all of the things combined together. So now let's go back to our transaction subscriptions and let's include our taxes. But first we have to create them. So I live in Michigan. So for me, I would create something like Michigan tax, and I would mark it as 2023. I would also do Michigan business tax 2023. So let's say my business tax rate is 20 and my personal tax rate is 28. Here, and let's also do New York. Let's say we have a property in New York. Tax 2023. Tax rate, let's say 20%. So for New York, we can select that it has one property associated with it, and we can start going back to our transactions and start including our tax accounts. So let's go one by one. Rent payments, sure, it's going to be New York tax. Salary, it's going to be my personal tax. Amazon revenue, my business tax. New window, New York tax. Business equipment, maybe it's going to be here or there. I don't really know. We can also create something like not applicable if we do not want to mark something as taxable. So maybe personal debt is not going to be included. And new jacket, also probably not applicable. So your transfer, up to you. If it's let's say you transferred from your business to your personal and you need to pay some kind of tax on it, you can always add this information here, but this is basically up to you. You can use this as you wish. And once you have that, you can also do the same for like stock trades. You can apply your stock trades to the taxes, and if it has an estimated tax, it will be calculated. So let's say crypto trades. We can also do like the sold here. Let's say you sold it for $200 million, right? Dogecoin. So your net profit would be a lot. $100 million with your estimated tax, of course, only for $20. And remember to put it negative. or actually no, put it positive here. The same goes for your crypto, your dividends, and once all that is filled, you are actually your subscriptions and bills as well. So for your subscriptions, car service going to be probably not applicable, and tuition will be Michigan business tax, and on bills it's going to be New York tax, not applicable, and New York tax. Okay, so going back to taxes, we will see a bunch of different things. So first of all, it aggregated all of the taxable income, and it gives you an estimated tax. Once again, this is nothing accurate. You still have to talk to your CPA if you need to, but this just gives you a good approximation of what's to come. You can see all of your recurring total from dividends, total transactions. You can see your just regular transactions, and as well you can toggle whether you want to count recurring or not count recurring. So maybe I want to input each bill individually on the transactions, and I want to just hit uncheck this, so only my transactions are counted. But if I do want to count recurring, so right now it's taxable income is 1,500, but if I do want to count recurring, it's going to change based on the recurring data. So this is also up to you how to use it. There are a few formulas or a few references and a few what are those fields called? Roll-ups, slip my mind. So a few formulas for estimated tax, for after tax, for your total taxable income. Feel free to reverse engineer it. This is a pretty complex tool. Although the features are pretty simple, it's still for you to discover everything that it hides. Just too many different features to create a separate introduction for. So feel free to poke around, ask me any questions how all of these formulas work. I would be happy to help you. And now to the very final part is I want to show you the profit first system. Now this system is a lifesaver for me personally for tracking the what I need to pay and where do I go paying this. So here in the profit first section, you will see your transactions, but we don't have anything here now because we didn't go and we didn't show that we want to show it on the profit first. So for this, I would be going to the database itself, and I will be applying profit first tags on the properties. So here right now it's no category, but you can either select it here. So let's say new jacket is going to be personal, personal debt personal, Amazon revenue business, transfer personal, business equipment business, and you can also like just drag and drop. So rent payments, it's going to be in the real estate, new window is going to be a real estate, salary is going to be personal. So once we've done this, we need to select a type. So the type in this case is going to be one of these five. It will be expenses, something that we pay. It will be tax, something that we put aside. It will be income, something that we receive. It would be donations if you do this. I do. I donate 100% of the profit. I match the 100% of the profit and I donate it to various causes. So if you do the same, you could do the same. And owner's pay, this is your salary. This is what you pay to yourself. Many of the users of this tool are entrepreneurs who work for themselves as a single person team. So I figure that if you do business, you have to pay yourself first. and well, actually keeping the profit first, but pay yourself always a good chunk of money from every revenue, and that's how you keep the money circulating and going, and how you can keep your business juices flowing. So let's go ahead and fill this out, and I will show you how to use it. So your revenue will be income, your business equipment will be expenses, rents income, new window expenses, personal it doesn't really matter that much, and I will not fill it out because I want to focus on something that's like my more business related, something that I pay specific tax on. So as you can see, it aggregates the totals, and based on some formulas and calculations that I have here, it tells you how much you own in which bucket. So profit first in general suggests that you separate your money into several buckets, like your profit, your taxes, your expenses and whatnot. The way I done it is with profit, expenses, owner's pay, donation, and tax. And the tax in this case, there is another profit first expended page. So the tax in this case set manually to 25%. You can always update it according to your tax code. The donations for me is matching 100% of the profit. So if the profit is 5%, I will also do 5% donations. The expenses is calculated. The owner's pay is hard coded to 50%. Now the way to operate it is maybe your taxes are lower and you are in 20% tax bracket. Your numbers will change. Maybe you want to pay yourself lower than 50% and maybe only 30%. Your numbers will change. But if we go back to the original setup of the 25 and 50, we will see a few things. So here in this section, we will see that from our totals, our sum, a few things. Now, from all of the revenue, we put aside 25% no matter what. We don't put aside from the taxable revenue. I put aside the 25% from the first dollar I see before I figure out my expenses. You might do it differently, so you will recalculate it based on your needs, but this is how I do it. So here in the sum, I see that $150 I own in taxes. $30 I do own in donation. My owner's pay is $300. My expenses that I have to pay is $87, and my profit is $30. And let's just spice it up a little bit with some additional stuff. Maybe you purchase like a web service, and you purchased it for $150, and you had another revenue where you made another $800. Just so we have a little bit more numbers. So here we will put something like spend. It will be income. The same story here, expenses and income. It's a little bit repetitive, but it's how the calculation work here. Taxes, we will just appropriate this. And now we are able to see our numbers change because our average and our sums change. And the way I work with this is I come here and I create something like a tax payment. Maybe I came on the 1st of February and I transferred from my income bank account to my tax bank account or to my different buckets, however you manage your money. Let's say I make a tax payments. I will put an income of 350. I mean actually not income, but I will put the amount of 350. And here in the profit first type, here I will count it as a transfer. And here in profit first type, I will count it as a tax. And what it does, it changes the 350 to 0. Basically, I paid off my tax payment. The same goes for your profit. Maybe you want to move your profit to a different bank account. The same goes here. You do profit payment. And our profit at this point is $70. So you pay yourself $70. You do transfer and you select this profit first time as a there is no profit here. Profit. And we do business. And as you can see, the profit disappears. So we can track and see what else do we need to pay. So based on this information, I have to pay myself $700. So I go ahead and I transfer from my business card to my personal card, $700, and I do owner's pay. And I do 700. I select here as owner's pay, type transfer, and tag business. Once we select our dates, we can see that owner's pay went away. So I know that I have to donate $70, so maybe I will do it later. And I do have expenses to cover. So this is something maybe I need to transfer from my personal to my business to cover these expenses. Or maybe I want to make this payment from my business basically to pay those bills. So I would transfer money from my bank account to, let's say, my credit card where those charges are, and I will do expenses. And I will do minus 5712. I know exactly how many expenses, what is the amount do I need to pay, and we will do here expenses, transfer, business as usual. And now we see that the only thing that's left is a donation. We will do a donation to Ukraine. Ukraine would need all the support we can give it to Ukraine. So the same story. We will do donation, we will do transfer, we will do business. We will put a date. And now we can see that all of our sums are back to zeros. So what happened? We made some transactions, we made some purchases, we made some money, and then we went and did some good old money management by moving the money into proper buckets. We moved it away from the income bank account to different things. We paid off our credit card balance, we paid ourselves, we donated, we paid expenses. And this is how I was able to track my finances for the past 2 years at least with Notion. I'm always on top of my tax payments, of my donations, on how much do I need to pay myself, where am I going, above my budgets, and so on. The same goes here for real estate. You come and you do the same maintenance. You calculate your tax and put it aside. Maybe you don't do donations here, and so on. So this is pretty much the whole overview of this whole tool. Now, the last thing I want to point out is there are some few additional databases, like for example, projects. Now, this is not, you don't have to fill it out if you don't want to use it, but maybe in your transactions, maybe you're assign it to some certain project. So you'll maybe do a new window as something like replace doors and windows. And this will be created in your projects database. And you can select a property here as well. You can select context, transactions, parent project, child project, so you can stack them together, and you can put like a status, completed, inactive, and whatnot. You can favorite it. So once again, it's just some additional supporting database that you can use. And the rest is we went over. I think that this has been a great success, and I wish that this demo is going to help you navigate through this tool a little bit better. I hope you watch it. Feel free to rewatch it, rewind it as you need, and let me know if you have any questions. I'm here to help you set this all up and help you achieve your financial dreams and goals. My name is Jan, and thank you for watching.